Okay. So on my international flight back, there's a guy next to me who's watched a lot of movies, and for whatever reason, I got sucked into watching some of the movies. Even though I couldn't hear him, I knew the movie because it was Casino Royale. Can we talk for a moment about how fucking stupid everything about Casino Royale is? This is a really the movie itself, from like a movie making, I guess, perspective, was was pretty good, but a lot of the premises of the movies of that movie are really fucking stupid. Okay, first of all, in the very beginning of the movie, why the fuck would a secret agent run into a fucking embassy? That whole scene was actually pure autism. Why would he think that's a good idea? Come on, that was the whole fucking start of the movie was pretty fucking autistic. I don't know, that really bothered me. I feel like if you were watching, I know that I've talked about the differences before between James Bond and the Bourne kind of movies, but that whole thing of okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and run into a fucking embassy right now. That's gonna be so fucking dank, and then he manages to blow everything up and do everything perfectly. Secondly, if the guy was so good, you know that dude that the main villain, if that guy was so fucking good at poker, okay? If that guy was so fucking good at poker that he was able to win $150 million, right? Because that's how much it was, wasn't it? Was it a 10 million, 10 plus 5, 10 million with a 5 million rebuy? If that main villain was so good that he could win $150 million at a poker tournament, why didn't the guy just play poker professionally? Why would he do all this risky fucking shit? Why would he do all this crazy ass fucking illegal bullshit if he's the kind of person that could organize and win a $150 million fucking poker tournament? Why not just go play that professionally if he can win that good? He wants more than just to be a poker player cuck for pokercucks.com. Also, if he's so good that he's one of the best poker players in the world, how is it that James Bond, who just so happens to be a secret agent guy, or who is a secret agent guy, happens to also be the second best player? Destiny, if you think there's 100 million in poker to win, you are brain dead. No, in this game, he had $150 million to win at the table, right? That's how much money it was, wasn't it? If James Bond was so good at playing poker, why didn't James Bond just go be a professional poker player? Why would he be a secret agent guy? He obviously didn't like it that much because he was ready to fucking retire. Why wouldn't James Bond, if he could sit at a table where people are betting that much, why couldn't he just go and be a professional fucking poker player? He was cheating at poker. Was the guy cheating? No, he wasn't. All of your questions are pretty much answered here. Click. Oh, nice meme. Were all the other players so fucking bad? Yeah, I don't know. Somebody linked this. Do I really want to watch this whole thing?
I'm Carrie D.
12 minutes?
Severe plaque psoriasis most of my life, but that hasn't stopped me from...
Oh, I see. The logos were black and white because the movie's first scene is black and white. Let's hear it for art, in case you confused it with Prague, South Carolina.
Your file shows no kills, and it takes 2.
A flashback within a flashback? Now with even more black and white. The semi-6 higher up doesn't know when his gun feels way lighter than usual without the magazine in it. This killing and these new Bond movies are brought to you by The Bourne Identity. Discount Blood Diamond, in case you confused it for Ball, Mississippi. Illegal Cobra raccoon fighting. Bond, I guess early in his spy career, figures a bulldozer will be the perfect vehicle to track down a guy running around a construction area on foot. Then the movie proves Bond right by making the guy stop running and hide behind a whole bunch of tubes, which Bond couldn't have known he was hiding behind. Also, Bond is addicted to commerce. Bond willingly fights with a guy hanging hundreds of feet in the air that he just cautioned his now dead partner he needed to take alive.
Wait, did his partner really get killed? I don't remember that happening. Did his partner actually get killed?
Bond is shatterproof. Why didn't they make a whole movie out of this dude? Is there not a market for excitement? At this point, I don't know how the Bond knows where this guy went, and I don't want him to catch him either. Massive gunfire all around, and all they do is hit the hero's knee, and Bond goes unscathed. Of course, this embassy has a bunch of shootable gas lying around for Bond to get out of this unget-outable situation. This is the worst written article on a VIO product placement I have ever seen. Be afraid, be very afraid, that Bond was able to trace the exact location of this dude from embedded data from a text message.
I thought that one less bomb maker in the world would be a good thing.
Where did you go from this
Holster the bloody weapon, Carter. I need him alive.
to this? Does Bond hate parkour that much?
Don't ever break into
Well,
my
because he said he had to kill him, right? Because he was either kill him or let him go and be alive, right?
again.
At least until Skyfall. Also, the guy just killed a great lead at an embassy.
In the beginning, he finds his partner shot and is ordered to abandon him, right? No, in the, no, when they were chasing the dude, I don't think Bond's partner gets killed, does he? I don't remember.
Knows M's real name and broke into her house, and he's not Bond yet. But sure, he gets the kind of leeway a veteran gets. Just in case you confused it with Nassau, Portugal. Bond crashes this Range Rover in the park.
Can we talk about something real fast? Because a lot of people really don't understand this. Or people are like being really autistic in chat, like intentionally because it's just a meme. I'm not sure. A lot of people right now are talking about suspension of disbelief. The suspension of disbelief in a movie happens when the movie, just because a movie requires you to suspend your disbelief for like Harry Potter or something, doesn't mean that the movie shouldn't also be internally rigorous in how it applies its rules or its whatever the fuck it's doing inside the movie. This idea that like a movie can do anything and you just have to suspend disbelief is really fucking stupid. Maybe if you're very young or very naive or you have like you don't give a fuck when you watch a movie, it's like a really mind-bogglingly autistic approach to criticizing a movie. The idea that you can write off literally every single thing and just say like, oh, suspension of disbelief, that's not how suspension of disbelief works. Just don't use the term. If you don't know what it means or you just heard somebody say it or whatever, then that's fine, but just don't use it and don't share it in chat and don't share your stupid fucking retarded opinion in chat. If you don't know what suspension of disbelief means, don't talk about it. It's pretty easy. Oh fuck, I nuked the guy that I didn't even want to nuke. Suspension of belief is to maintain... Oh, sorry, I was saying suspension of disbelief. It's believed to entertain the audience. No one cares about rigor and plot hardness except for you. Okay, well, I mean, that's possible. Harry Potter has a lot of fucking plot holes also. Yeah, Harry Potter does. I didn't mean to use Harry Potter as a good example, just as an example of the rules. Bond movies are internally consistent. The hero is bulletproof and exceptionally talented. Death Note would be a good example of a movie that does suspension of belief. No, it's suspension of disbelief. You suspend your ability to disbelieve something. It is suspension of disbelief. Fuck, sorry, somebody said belief. Okay, yeah, anyway. Death Note is a good example of suspension of disbelief because even though obviously it's fantastical because there are monsters and Death Notes and books that kill people, the series maintains internal rigidity. Is that a real word? Rigidness? Rigidity? Oh, cool. Yeah, the anime maintains its rigidity because it stays consistent throughout the whole thing, which is fine, right? The rules of the Death Note don't change, and that's fine. But when you have like things where you've got movies where like everything is like relatively realistic, but like the enemies can never shoot the hero because all of them suck at aiming their guns for some weird fucking reason, and the hero is bulletproof. Like, I don't know, it just feels cheap and stupid. That's not a suspension of disbelief. That's just cheap and stupid. Like. I hate the magic system in Harry Potter. I definitely agree. Harry Potter, yeah, Harry Potter's magic system is very, very, very strange. I don't understand it at all. The problem is, the problem with Harry Potter's magic is there's no way to tell like what power is. It doesn't mean anything because they have a spell that kills you in one shot, and you have spells that disarm people. You would think that yeah, good job, Dark Science. Can you explain why you don't like it? Why I don't like what, Harry Potter? It's like the Force in Star Wars. No, I think the Force in Star Wars makes sense. No, that's not true. The Force in Star Wars makes sense. The magic is only bad in the first 3 books, in my opinion. After that, Rowling manned up and cleaned up the system in the big. The time traveling token. Fuck. What was it? Was it a watch? Time turner. What book was this in? I never understood why Harry Potter got so popular because Rowling's world building sucks and her character development sucks. There's literally nothing good about them. I totally disagree 1,000,000%. I think that Rowling's character development might suck, but I think the world building was really fucking awesome. I think that's why the Harry Potter books were so good. The characters really sucked and the plot was pretty whatever, pretty shonen-esque, I think. To be honest, it really was. But the world building for Harry Potter was actually really cool. I think that's why the books caught on so much, because it really did feel like a magical world. You're in the magical school, you had the cool train that you ran through the wall to get to, and then all the little magical rules and people and everything, and the organization of the school and the wizardry council, I think was like really cool. I think that the world building for the books is actually really good. But yeah, but like the magical rules in Harry Potter, like the problem with Harry Potter was that every time there was any issue whatsoever, there was always like a new magical spell to get people out of it. This is like one of the things that sucks because, fuck, my brain is so scattered right now. So when you're writing a book or you're writing a movie, you want to see the talent of the writer or the author to write characters out of situations in clever and creative ways that use the characters and all the characters' abilities, right? That's what's cool. That's what was cool about Death Note. Like everything that happens in Death Note is like pretty cool, and it seems like a smart thing that a smart person would do with the way that Light Yagami or whatever, the way that he maneuvers himself out of situations is really smart. You know, he drops that note that the guy on the bus picks up, and that's part of the Death Note, so he can see the dude, and like everything is scripted out and planned out. And everything that happens in Death Note is like really cool, and that's really awesome. And it feels like it's written really well. Nothing feels cheap. But in Harry Potter, every time Harry is confronted with something, there's like some new magical thing or some new crazy ass bullshit. There's a new prophecy. There's a new weird spell that he discovers in a book. There's a new family member. Sirius Black comes out. There's a new special connection between him and Voldemort. There's a new special thing that Dumbledore has. There's a new traveler's map. There's a new invisibility cloak. Like there's all these things. It made it, yeah, Ex Machina. Yeah, of course. There were way too many things where every single time Harry Potter was confronted with a problem, it was like, oh, this thing is just written into the story, not to save. I was like, oh, well, fuck. Like, there's no way you could have seen that coming. Like, you could never, ever imagine that coming in the book because J.K. Rowling literally would invent something like 15 different times. Like, he had the most like invulnerable plot armor in the entire fucking universe. Like, it was a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, the amount of times he's saved by his mother's protection. Yeah, like. I'm sorry, but the amount of paranoia it takes to suspect that someone is going to search your room such that you're always in character makes me dislike Death Note. I mean, I thought the Gami guy seemed like a really paranoid, like really intelligent person. That was the thing. He was like hyper intelligent, hyper aware, like very paranoid. Did Light ever make the deal that gives him demon eyes? Nope. That's only true in like half of them? Are you talking about Harry Potter? Isn't the meme in the book though? I mean, he literally pulls the sword in the second book out of nowhere, the sword out of the hat. Isn't that the case for most films where the protagonists always have that plot armor? I don't know. I don't feel like that. I feel like there are movies where the characters act relatively intelligently. I don't know. That's why I really like the Bourne movies. I thought that the way that the action is handled in the Bourne movies was really, really, really cool. It made me really like those movies 1,000,000 times more than the fucking James Bond movies. Wouldn't Death Note be so much better if it weren't for Misa? Yeah, I fucking hated Misa, especially in the second half of the show. Holy shit. Holy crap, anyone else feel that XCOM 2 is a lot harder? Uh-oh. Also, it was stupid how everyone in Slytherin were all evil. Yeah, the houses were horrendously simplistic. First of all, there were only 2 houses in the school. You had Gryffindor, which was the good, divine, holy people. And then you had Slytherin, which were the holy, evil, malicious, horrible people that were all bad. And then maybe Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw are like out there, but nobody gives a fuck about either of those houses. I think one of them was like kind of good at Quidditch, but not as good as Harry Potter, who's the best at literally everything. There was literally, it was like Gryffindor and Slytherin, and then there's like the two other houses that nobody gives a fuck about. Like, oh god, yeah, there were a lot of fucking problems with the houses in Harry Potter. Destiny, you don't need to suspend your disbelief. None of the characters are motivated by money. You are projecting what you are motivated by on others. Le Chiffre needs the money to pay back the shit he stole from the clients to make more money. He didn't do it because he wanted to go ultra rich. He did it because he wanted to become more powerful in the organization. No, yeah, I mean, I know I'm being a little bit nitpicky, but I'm just saying that for the James Bond movies in general, I just don't like how reckless the James Bond guy is when he's supposed to be like a secret agent dude. I think the biggest bullshit was the whole Master of Wand thing that was introduced in the last book. When you disarm someone, you become the master of his wand or something. Yeah, that was weird because I don't think that was ever brought up. And they use stupefy and all that shit how many fucking times? I don't think that was ever brought up before the last book, was it? Also, here's something that I actually never understood. Why did Voldemort kill Snape? Why? I don't understand. Oh, Expelliarmus or whatever, sorry. Answer your Skype? What do you want? What do you want?
What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
You're talking Harry Potter memes.
Yeah, what about it?
All right, so first of all, Snape killed Dumbledore because he thought that Voldemort thought that Snape owned the wand. He
yeah,
thought the
but if
wand
you
was elite.
disarm someone, you get control of the wand.
Right.
So
But
why
remember,
didn't he just disarm him?
because he wanted to be like completely fucking sure, like absolutely 100%.
Oh wait,
this
come on!
motherfucker's
Snape
dead.
is like his most loyal servant for how many fucking years, and you just feel like your top dog? Like Snape was like, wasn't Snape literally like one of the most powerful magicians and in the wizards in the entire fucking universe? And he wanted to kill him just to be sure?
It's fucking Voldemort. Literally supposed to be Hitler times 1,000, man.
I
Voldemort
know,
was
but well, no, that's not true. Because Voldemort was at least like nice to like his loyal. He was cool with the Beatrix chick.
Yeah, and I bet Hitler had what's that chick's name? His like fifth cousin that he was dating. They killed themselves together.
I don't.
Hitler
know.
had people he loved. Is the point?
Okay.
You ever see all those pictures of Hitler smiling? He was a happy guy.
I'm just saying, like, it would have seemed to make more sense to me to keep Snape as like number 2, best fucking trustworthy, loyal fucking dude who helped him get rid of Dumbledore and everything, to keep him alive and maybe disarm him rather than.
Voldemort, I mean, he was a very cunning, smart man, but he made some bad decisions. And
I see all these people in chat with our fucking Deus Ex Machina. This is so sad. How you guys actually... Voldemort wasn't aware that disarmament equals new master. Voldemort is one of the strong... This is like a testament to Rowling's shitty writing. Voldemort, one of the strongest and most powerful fucking wizards in the entire fucking world, doesn't know a really simple, basic thing about wand ownership? Come on, guys, really? Like, how does that make sense? Like, oh yeah, Voldemort, yeah, he was like arguably one of the most powerful wizards of all time. He just didn't know that if you disarm someone, you control their wand. Like, you just don't learn that in becoming the most powerful wizard ever? What the fuck?
That was one of the storylines, is that they continued. He was continually. That's why he kidnapped Ollivander, and that's why he visited fucking Grigorovich or whatever his name was. Is he was learning about the wand lore? He didn't completely know about the wand lore, and that's why he's like, "You lied to me. This is bullshit. It's not working."
Yeah, so because Voldemort was probably trying to catch up because every single new book Rowling added 400 million new things to the fucking world. And everything Voldemort thought he knew was true wasn't. Holy shit.
How did this all get started?
We were talking about, because I get really angry because sometimes whenever there's... Okay, so are you familiar with the concept of Deus Ex Machina?
No.
Okay, so you have a character in a situation in a story, and instead of writing out that character in a way that is internally rigorous and internally consistent, in a way that makes sense and in a way that's awesome, I'm being a little bit specific here, instead you introduce an element to the story that was previously non-existent to save that character. Deus Ex Machina. So like for the Lord of the Rings movies, please don't jump on me, you fucking shitters. I don't give a fuck about the books. I'm talking about the movies. And like the movies, you could argue that the Eagles flying in to save the guy at the end, you could say like that was a type of a Deus Ex Machina, like, oh, the Eagles just happen to come because now they want to fly in and save Frodo or whatever, even though they weren't involved beforehand or whatever, right? Like something like that. Even I guess I guess if you read the books more, there's like a reason why they did or didn't, but like something like that where you like invent a rule, or like when Voldemort goes to kill Harry, well, oh, like he's this time the power of love is strong enough to save him from this, or there's some bullshit. Like it's Deus Ex Machina. You invent something to save the character so that they can't be killed. If you've ever watched like shonen anime, this is literally all of shonen anime revolves around this, for Dragon Ball Z, like, oh, he can't kill Gohan because now Gohan just became the next level of Super Saiyan, or oh, he can't do this because he just got to the next level of Kaioken, or oh, he can't do this because now his Spirit Ball is 20 times more powerful, shit like that.
All right, so how'd this turn into Harry Potter?
Well, because Harry Potter is an example of I'm sorry. So the Deus Ex Machina, what you're talking about, because I was saying that you can't just say you can't write off everything by saying, oh, suspension of disbelief, Destiny, why can't you do it? You can't just write all bad and shitty writing up by saying, oh, you just have to suspend all your disbelief. Just because you're suspending your disbelief doesn't mean that you can't also believe that whatever you're watching can be internally rigorous and consistent. So I was bringing up Harry Potter as an example of something that can be good. It requires you to suspend your disbelief to believe in magic and all of that. However, it has severe problems in that it's not internally rigorous and consistent, because also these new rules and new things are introduced every single book to save, the main characters. And it's like, oh, well, this is kind of just like poor writing. It's just a bunch of Deus Ex Machina.
Okay, so like give me an example of it within the book. Just right out the top of my head, I'm not thinking of anything.
I mean, fucking every single fucking thing that involved Harry Potter. Every single time somebody tried to kill him, there was always a thing. Harry looking into the mirror, and because he loved his mom and dad, he could reach into his pocket and pull out the Sorcerer's Stone.
That was fucking...
Sure, fucking when Voldemort goes to kill him, it actually doesn't really kill him because Harry's the last Horcrux, and so now that makes it so the killing curse doesn't actually kill him.
Well, he didn't have to confront him there, or he didn't have to be the one that died. It could have still been the snake, you know what I mean? Like they could have just left it at, oh, it's the snake. Harry didn't have to confront Voldemort.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he had to confront Voldemort, but he didn't have to confront him, die, and then come back to life and fight him. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I think he did actually. Hold on, wait, is my stream on? I can never tell.
It's spinning.
No, I think it's on.
It's back. It's back on.
I think Harry had to die in order to kill Voldemort first.
Because they wrote into it the Horcrux thing in the last book, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Harry was the last Horcrux, so Harry had to. So when Voldemort used the killing curse on him, it just killed the part of Harry that was the Horcrux.
So why was that Deus Ex Machina then?
Well, because it's like the fucking final part of the. I mean, like, does it not feel cheap to you? Like, okay, well, Harry's gonna run out and just die. Oh, but it's okay because even though he got killed, like Harry didn't know that he was the. Like, if it would have been written differently, where Harry would. 18th, I guess, so we'll see what happens.
I've had to deal with node splittings before for clients at my old job, and they usually get it done pretty fast. I don't know.
That's good.
I wonder if it's just because you're in a residential area.
No, it's probably because I'm literally the only person on this node that complains. Literally, probably the only person. So if they were to split the node, it'd probably cost tens of thousands. I don't know how much it costs. Do they need like a whole new CMTS machine or whatever? I don't actually know. It probably costs a lot of money to do it. And they would literally be doing it just for me, so it's probably not even worth it.
All right, so anyway, back to the shit, man. In book 3, it sounds like Hermione, the whole thing, and then it just kind of it fit really perfectly into how they saved Sirius. I mean, if you think about it, like...
I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. It fit really perfectly. Of course it did, because the way that it was written was so that everything would always fit really perfectly.
There's a lot of shit in Doctor Who. I swear to God, I'm thank you for teaching me this Deus Ex Machina, because now I have a way to describe a lot of things I've always called bullshit, and I think Doctor Who is absolutely full of this fucking shit.
Yeah, of course. I only watched like 2 episodes, I think, because Teresa liked it so much, but I saw it, and it seemed like in every episode there was like new shit that would come out to save the Doctor. Yeah, but I don't know fuck all about that.
Exactly. So fucking like that show, absolutely. I think within J.K. Rowling's world, you know where I always wanted to see something like that though was the book. It was the Half-Blood Prince, right? So you know how he has that Felix Felicis, the liquid luck potion?
Okay.
they didn't show it in the movie, but in the book there was this big battle happening in the school where the Death Eaters break in and everything. Like they showed the Death Eaters breaking in and killing Dumbledore, but before that there was like a huge fucking fight as they were trying to make their way to Dumbledore's or to the observatory or whatever. Anyway, so he has this liquid luck and he gives it to a couple people, I think, to whatever. I think what he should have done is she should have used the refilling charm, because I think that's where they introduced it. He should have used the refilling charm and everyone just had a fuck ton of liquid luck, right? Yeah, they're diminishing returns, but it's over extended use, not immediate. So I don't know.
Yeah, but then if that was, then Rowling's excuse as a writer, she would have said like, oh, well, that thing won't work on like enchanted things that affect this thing,
Probably, yeah, exactly. Yeah. If she ever does an AMA, maybe
I think the biggest mistake some of the biggest mistakes that Rowling made are, one, she didn't really talk about what makes a wizard powerful ever. You could kind of be hinted at it, but like the fact that all you need to do is say a word to utter a word to get a spell to come out, and the fact that there was a spell that killed people in one shot made it seem like none of the power mattered. Like I could grab a wand and learn how to say
Avada Kedavra.
And kill people in one shot, and it's like, well, fuck, like you'd be the greatest wizard in the world, but if I land this one shot spell on you, like I fucking win, like get dumpstered, Or like if you know how to say the words to cast all the spells and shit, why the fuck why do you need the Elder Wand? Like what did the Elder Wand even do? That was never discussed.
So I think if I were to theorize, I think it's the wand, the magical entity within the wand, the wood, the magical properties of nature and all that shit. It helps you channel your power, right?
Okay, but like, do you understand that like you have to make a lot of leaps of faith here, because none of that is ever shown. Like, I could be wrong, but tell me, I don't think anybody ever failed a killing curse in all of Harry Potter, except for obviously with Voldemort shooting Harry.
Mm-hmm. You don't think anyone survived it? Is that what you're saying?
No, like, yeah, like nobody failed. Nobody ever failed any of those. Like,
yeah, so that's what bothered me in fucking, like, it was definitive. If you read the book, the green flash of light was the killing curse. When flash of light that was green came by your head, you knew someone tried to Avada Kedavra you. But you see in the fucking movies all the time people doing the reflect with their spell, with their wand.
Yeah, but that's the movies. I'm not going to fucking...
Yeah. But no one missed it.
Oh, the ultimate of Deus Ex Machina, the ultimate example in Harry Potter was the fucking point system at the end of the fucking year, when Gryffindor would always win by like 5 points every single time.
I mean, that's, it stopped becoming a thing as the books became more mature. But I mean, yeah, it's a little, the younger readers are thinking like, fuck, Slytherin's winning. And Slytherin's all sitting there smug, Malfoy and the other boys, they're like, ha ha ha, fuck you, fucker. And then Dumbledore comes up and is like, actually, bitches, watch this. I mean, I don't know. I never got upset at it. But now when you say it like that, yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It was just one more victory for Harry and his friends. Was to, watch Malfoy's. Oh, you were talking about Quidditch. That's what I wanted to get on. What were your thoughts on Quidditch? Were you saying that only fucking Slytherin and Gryffindor were good?
Oh, I was just saying that, like, I thought that the way that Gryffindor and Slytherin were opposed to each other made the other two schools very, very, very awkward. I think that was just really, really bad planning on Rowling's part. If you have a school that's pure good, and then you have a school that stands in opposition to them that's pure evil, it seemed very strange to have two other schools just kind of tossed it. Like, and these were schools that nobody gave a fuck about. Who the fuck cared about Ravenclaw or fucking Hufflepuff?
Cho fucking Chang.
The weird fucking girl that was written
what are you talking about, man?
Harry to date in like the fucking fourth book or whatever. Like,
that show came out when I was going through the teenage boy Asian fetish thing, and I mean, I thought Cho, I was totally related to that. I'm like, fuck yeah, Harry, go for the Asian girl. Like, I don't know, man. Cho was enough from being serious now. From a reader's perspective, Harry's interest in Cho was enough to give significance to Ravenclaw.
I mean, sure. She carried like the whole school. Do you understand how bad that sounds?
I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, but they weren't the focus.
Okay,
and
so
I think Slytherin was pure evil. I think Slytherin were all assholes, and I didn't like that aspect. Like, why do because there are going to be Slytherins that are cunning and whatever that aren't pieces of shit.
Were there any in the Harry Potter story, though? I'm trying to think.
I mean, no, I think logically. I mean, I'm sure there
logically, that's how it was. It made it sound that way. Like, logically, like, oh, yeah, there could be Slytherins that are just really clever. They don't necessarily have to be evil, but I don't remember there ever being like Slytherins that were just clever and not like.
Right. I'm just saying that logically, and if this were a real thing, there would be Slytherins that aren't evil. It's not the Sorting Hat's job to say you're really pure good, go Gryffindor. You're solid evil, go fucking Slytherin. You're kind of lousy, go Hufflepuff, and you're kind of smart but kind of a wimp, go Ravenclaw.
Horace Slug. I don't know. Remember this fucking dude.
Slughorn is the guy that they had to get the memory from.
Yeah, so a lot of people in chat are bringing up when Moody was telling the class, like, you could all point your wands at me and say, like, Avada Kedavra, but you can't kill me with it because it takes immense magical power, whatever. But the thing is, like, even though he mentions that to a bunch of kids, it's like, you never see people fail the spell, or you never see people, like, you don't...
Yeah.
Like, it would have been something to see somebody cast, like, 2 killing curses, and then it's like, oh, he was very tired and he had to take a break, or he was tired and he collapsed in exhaustion, or, like, he was unable to cast any more spells, he could barely raise his arm, or you could see the exhaustion driven. Like, that never happens in the book, ever. Like, I don't think anyone's ever described as being, like, out of power or drained from casting too many spells. Like,
right. So 3 things. First of all, he said none of you could point your wand at me, and I would barely get a bloody nose. Second of all, he says, or one thing I always wondered is, why didn't you see, like, it's unforgivable? Does that mean, like, I can't put my dog down with the unforgivable curse? Like, do I have, you know what I mean? Like, am I allowed
well, the way that they explained it in the book was you had to have, like, a very strong hatred in your heart to use it. That's why you were never supposed to use the 3 unforgivable curses, was because to use them could, like, turn you to the dark side of the Force and shit.
And what was the third? The Force. And what was the third one? The third one was, yeah, I've always wondered that. Like, you know, you see people casting these powers. I imagine to some degree it would be exhaustive, whether it's mentally or physically. You know, if magic is just a part of you as a being, I imagine that continuously using it would be exhaustive. Unless, I mean, you know, this is all theory crafting and all that shit, but unless you look at magic as something that's kind of all around in the world, and you as a wizard or witch can control it. So you cast the incantation, you have a little bit of magic within you yourself, and your wand helps you to focus that. So you're not really using your own power, like lifting weights, using your own muscles, right? It's more like you're willing the magic to do something, and that doesn't take that much effort to just think Avada Kedavra, and then that shit happens. Like, that's more powerful, so it takes a little more will, but it doesn't.
Yeah, like, it would have been interesting, like, every time a spell was failed, like, people are trying to bring up examples of spells failing. Every time a spell was failed in the book, I think it had to do with the person mispronouncing it. Like, that was the joke. Like, not like a joke, but, like, when people failed spells as kids, it was because they weren't pronouncing it correctly or doing the proper motions.
Well,
you never see somebody fail a spell because they're, like, out of MP or something, you know?
Out of MP, no, but I think it's because they didn't... the power, they never really talk about what the power is, I think.
Yeah, which is annoying because the Elder Wand becomes so important in the final book. Why? But why is it important? Why do you need that wand? What does it do? Like,
I think again, it's just that it's that channeling thing. It's that tool for channeling between you.
But it's
and the
never shown that you need it to do anything. Like, no one has trouble. Like,
oh yeah, well there are wizards that snap their fingers in Harry Potter, and ropes fly out of places and tie people up. Like, you ever see Merlin? It was a series, not like the recent Merlin. This was back in like the late 90s on ABC or something like that. It was a miniseries. It had Martin Short in it.
nope.
Okay, so when he talks about it, he goes through the different types of magic, and he talks about, like, you know, there are wizards who are use incantation, like those are the less powerful ones, and the more powerful wizards can use sleight of hand, and then there are ones who can just do shit. And I kind of felt like that was the same way in Harry Potter. You would see wizards just flick their wand. Rowling would never say, hey, he says an incantation, right? Mm-hmm. He'd just flick his wand, something happens, or snaps his fingers and something happens. And I think it was kind of, I don't know, the same way, like the more in tune you were, the stronger you were as a wizard or a witch, the easier you could just control magic, I guess. But we got to that from somewhere. We got to, talking about the strength of a witch or wizard. Saying spells. So Wingardium Leviosa was the first one where they really talked about pronunciation and all that. You know, the Leviosa, not Leviosa, whatever. Sure. And then but Harry Potter, in the 3rd book, he's having trouble with the Patronus, right? That wasn't him mispronouncing it. It was, you know,
the Patronus was one of the only spells that they went into great detail to explain that you needed to, like, have, like, the right mind and soul and shit. Besides, like, the killing or the 3 unforgivable curses. I agree with that. The Patronus one was explained pretty well. Sure.
Yeah, so I think if like you kind of take between the two, like besides pronunciation, besides having to think a happy thought for the Patronus, I imagine that it's a mixture of both, right? You say the incantation properly, and then you fucking you have to channel it. You know, you have to have the right, you know, understand. I guess I imagine it's a feeling thing, right? I don't know if I would.
I've never casted any of those.
Dude, I used to have dreams about Harry Potter, and like my magic could never fucking work. Like I was always trying to cast spells like stupefy and shit, and it wouldn't fucking do it. Worst dreams ever.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna go play XCOM 2. Okay.
All right, talk to you later, man.
All right, I love you. It's been fun. Peace out.
Bye.